you know, when a friend of yours comes and talks to you about cryptocurrency, there's that, and then there's also your friend who's been he's been a manager and an advisor of an institutional, multi-billion-dollar institutional private equity funds. And so when somebody like that comes to you and says, hey, I've got a project for you, I've got something for you that I want you to take a look at, you listen. And so he sits down with me and he starts to tell me about Cognida. He's like, Josh, I've just become a partner with this company, and it's a very interesting project, and what we're doing is shifting the paradigm, and this is just one of the things that we're doing. He said, we're shifting the paradigm in the SaaS space where the SaaS companies are controlling your data. So enterprise companies no longer have to be at the mercy of another company holding their customer or operational data. We're shifting that paradigm where we release the data to those companies and allow them to use it via API. That was very exciting to me because I previously built a company where I was, in a sense, held hostage to the company that I depended on. It was a food technology company that I started. I was held hostage basically by this operational SaaS platform that we were using. And it caused a lot of constraints, and it really made operations difficult, and we couldn't switch off of that platform. And so this was very appealing to me when he brought this up. One of the things that got me most excited about it, actually. But so I said, hey, Frank, I want to get involved in this. I've got to get involved. And he said, well, let me talk to them and see what we can do. Well, 2 weeks later goes by. He comes back to me and he says, hey, I can't get you involved right now, but what I can do is get you an interview with the founders. And so I'm like, what? Okay. He said, we're looking for a CMO. And so that's how I ended up getting involved. This is a little over 2 months ago. I'm very thankful to be here, excited to be here, thankful to one of our co-founders who is here and my team as well. But let me go ahead and get into the solution and what we're doing. Before talking about the solution, I do want to mention that the problem that we're trying to solve in this landscape. And so for enterprises, basically in a nutshell, what we're doing is we're connecting enterprise to the blockchain in a meaningful way that provides identity management solutions, security solutions that massively simplifies a very complex area of IT architecture for the enterprise businesses. So if you take a look at the enterprise security landscape, we've got enterprise premises, which have the facility access, the building automation, application servers, security systems, Internet of Things. You've got cloud services, which bring all the SaaS apps and API servers as well. Then you've got all your mobile devices. All of this the enterprise has to manage and the IT department has to deal with, and it creates significant complexities. You've got diverse, and if you think about it, the technology has been on an exponential curve, so that the speed of development and adoption of technology is massively increasing. It's on an exponential curve, right? And so over the years, enterprise has been piecemeal adding on these solutions to their platform, but they don't necessarily communicate with one another. You may have one department that adds one SaaS platform, you may have another that adds another SaaS platform, and then all of a sudden, they've got this complex siloed systems with administration here. The org chart for IT departments within enterprise is growing just as a result of the added on technology and the increased complexities. Wow, 9 minutes and I'm only on the second slide. Okay, so we've got disparate identity and access management. We've also got the Internet of Things that you add on to that increases the complexity even more. And a significant problem with the Internet of Things is the inability, and this is said by Michael Hathaway, who's our CEO and co-founder, the inability of the enterprise to actually, there's less than 10% of enterprises utilizing IoT are able to utilize the data from those devices. That's a significant problem. So you look at that complex landscape, and this is the service access and administration required and configuring that's required for an IT department of an enterprise to set up and utilize their technology. You've got access configuration, database configuration, identity and access management, which includes users, devices and systems, security policies, API access configuration. You've got multiple configuration layers, and you've got multiple administrator roles. This creates a multiplicative and almost exponential effect to the increase in complexity within the enterprise technology. Just a little illustration to demonstrate the number of configurations just for a few simple applications. This is one app here. This is a billing and accounting application. This is an enterprise human resource application. And this is a diagram done by John Superior, who was the enterprise architect at Harvard University. He's on our team. John Superior put this together, and this is just a couple of apps within a enterprise business. And you can see all of the data configuration points here. You've got database to database, API to API. You've got the identity access management up at the top there. So all of this just for 2 apps. The average enterprise has over 500 applications. So you start to look, I asked our designer to flesh out these and draw these lines. This is with 4 apps. This is with 8 apps. This is with 16 apps. This is 32 apps. A tremendous complexity. And this is only 32. My designer said, Josh, I'm not drawing any more lines, man. You gotta stop. But the reality is there's an average of 500 applications within each enterprise. So this is a gross understatement of the complexity just on the application side. So the problems caused here, you've got duplicated and distributed administration, you've got server access problems, identity management access problems, you've got different systems, siloed administration, inconsistent access authorization. Basically, the enterprise is unable to effectively utilize their data. Right? And in addition to this, if you go back, can you imagine all of these point-to-point provisions, the complexities and the increased security vulnerabilities that this creates? In the Internet of Things, if you think about what happened at Target, right? Everybody remember what happened at Target? Their system was compromised, tons of credit cards were stolen, right? This was many years ago. The way that happened, somebody hacked into an HVAC unit, Internet of Things, right? They hacked into an HVAC unit that was connected to a point-of-sale system, that was connected to a server, which was connected to the same point-of-sale system as that server, and so they got into the point-of-sale system and stole the credit cards. So you've got problems with security that result as a result of all of these point-to-point provisions. So this is a quote from, let's get into our solution, running low on time here. It was a quote from Michael Hathaway. 2013, Bitcoin was just getting started and we were building the first version of the IXOT platform. The solution seemed compelling, but it was too early to adopt. By 2016, our clients began asking how they might incorporate blockchain into a security solution, and Cognida was born as a result of demand. How does blockchain help? So, our platform is a very unique approach to blockchain for the enterprise. We're taking advantage of the common elements that every blockchain has. Data immutability. You can trust that there's no change to the data. The distributed database and the trustless transactions. These are the core features that we're using in our solution, and we can map to or port to any blockchain. So we're blockchain agnostic. Here's a simple diagram showing how we utilize and how we connect to the blockchain, and basically indicating what we're doing with the blockchain. So we're taking identities and policies, and by policies I mean the security policies, so the roles and permissions and what this person has access to within the organization. Does he have access to this database? Does he have access to this app? Does she have access to this server? Who has access to what? So we're taking the identities and the policies and storing those to the database ledger, the blockchain database ledger, which then we have a read API, application programming interface. Basically what that is it's a bridge for data. We have a read API that reads those identities and policies, and what this enables is significant for the enterprise. This enables a single sign-on, right, which means that you can sign on to any of your apps and devices easily. Well, obviously that's not so unique and significant. You'd say Google provides that service, right? But how many of us want to trust our data with Google and how they may be monetizing the data, right? So this enables us to put the identity management in the enterprise hands. We're using common tools to the enterprise, which is free IPA. They're very familiar tools to authenticate and give access. The blockchain ledgers store the identities, the roles, the permissions, and all of the information that's needed to tell which person has access to which application, for how long they have access to that application. It gives significant control to the users. I need to move forward in these slides. This is a very significant slide, though. The agent is what enables us to incorporate and bridge the data between all of these devices and people. The agent communicates with the devices and brings in the Internet of Things, right? So this is a script and that Michael, it's an Android and Python script that Michael Hathaway put together so that we can communicate with devices. So now we've created a solution that is blockchain agnostic. We'll API to whatever blockchain the enterprise needs. We've got a unified digital identity management solution. It's unified, very easy for the IT department to look at all of the identities and control this from a central panel. We've got unified security policy enforcement. We've got information services, so you can look at the system logs of your devices or your users or from the apps. So you've got great visibility from one place to everything that's going on within your organization. And you've got secure messaging, alerts and notifications telling you, let's say a heart monitor is reading, or a blood pressure monitor device is connected to our system, and the blood pressure exceeds a certain point, an alert can be programmed to send to the doctor that's caring for that individual person. There's countless use cases for this product, but basically, I'll now go into the Windmill Enterprise since we definitely need to speed up a little bit here. Windmill Enterprise is the developer of the Cognida platform. What Cognida is, it's an open source code, so we're setting up an open source code base so that's what this technology is. We've handed it off to a nonprofit organization, and Windmill is going to be the solutions integrator. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our team of architects, our enterprise architects, we're going to go into the enterprise and evaluate what is their existing IT architecture, and we're going to come up with a custom solution utilizing the simple fundamentals of blockchain to benefit the enterprise. The industry verticals. By the way, these industry verticals, facility management, energy, clinical trials, and agriculture, all of these are customers we're currently working with. So these are some of the businesses, enterprises using blockchain technology. One point about this slide is that we are not reliant upon having blockchain interested companies to be a customer, because we're the one that connects to the blockchain, right? So we're handling all of that for them, and being blockchain agnostic, we're reducing the risk for enterprise to get into blockchain. So we're solving problems with blockchain, and I'm running out of time. There's Cog cryptocurrency. Check us out online. Check us out online at cognida.network. Please join our community. We can have service providers join our platform. We can have enterprise customers. We'd love to have you as participants in what we're doing. We've got a phenomenal team. Bing Byington is one of the co-founders. He's right over there. He's got significant experience in enterprise, built up multiple businesses, sold them to Fortune 100 companies. Michael Hathaway, co-founder and developer of the IoT technology, the agent core that I was talking about that communicates with devices. He's also the developer of Cognida. And so we've got a phenomenal team. We've got some amazing architects. John Superior from Harvard, Michael Anderson, a software architect. John's the one that designed that one slide I was talking about. Great architects. We've got a customer-facing architect as well. Phenomenal advisors. Dustin Byington, the former president of WANchain. Oliver Burks, the vice president of WANchain. These are some of our blockchain projects, and I'm wrapping up, sorry. I'm getting the evil eye here. so I don't think I could talk fast enough. These are some of the blockchain projects we're involved with. We've also got a couple partners with Mobile Wallet, Rivets, and Vault Wallet that are enhancing the level of security that we can provide. Please connect with us. Thank you so much for listening and being patient with my long-winded